Hey guys, welcome back to Bar Exam. I'm your host, Allie Rayner, and I'm here with my amazing co hosts, Mr. Eric G and Mr. Marcus TV. Say what's up,
Here.
guys.
I don't like how my head and like air it looks shorter like a graph with everybody. I don't like my head right
I know we are a little bit tilted off, aren't we, tonight? Whoopsie.
Yeah, everything looks like
now.
tilted.
Just vibe with it. Just go with it,
Yeah,
okay?
I'm just go with it, bro.
Is that the vibe of this episode? Is everything just gonna be like a little tilted?
I don't know.
Just
It
a
just
little.
feels like a
Just
little
a little
weird.
bit.
Scales adjust.
But anyway, guys, this is going to be a really good episode because coming before the bar this week, we wanted to shake things up and we didn't want to do the same old, same old. We actually wanted to have a little bit of a debate. And so this week, coming before the bar, we're going to be debating who is the best rapper slash producer. So we're talking about people who aren't just amazing at spitting bars. We also want to highlight individuals who are amazing at making beats, maybe composing, and so that's why we wanted to dive into this conversation. It's going to be very fun. It's different because to be one of those people, you have to be like super, super duper musically inclined. Like some people would even say maybe a music genius. And so this should be fun. Guys, do you have any suggestions? Is there anybody you want to throw out there as your favorite producer slash rapper? I'd
Man,
say I could start with the most obvious if you want me to.
yeah, go ahead, because
I
I have
think
a lot of picks to choose from. But who do you
okay.
think is the number one?
I think the most like household name would be Kanye West because he's already a
Mm.
household name with the
Yep.
rapping and with his own projects. But I think people really sleep on the fact that he really does work on a ton of other people's projects, their albums, their songs. You know, I think that it's very notable. Like if you go through the list, there was people on the list like I didn't even realize. Like obviously people know that when he came out he produced on his own stuff, so like College Dropout, Late Registration. I think one of the most popular ones, or like the one that got the most accolades, was My Dark Twisted Fantasy. But I did not know how long the list goes when it comes to people that he has helped. So I had to pull it up because it's a lot. It's a lot, a lot, a lot. So just from like producing credits, he's worked with anybody from let's like if we just pick random names from the list: Keisha Cole, Lil Kim, Lil Nas, Lupe Fiasco, Diddy, The Game, Fabulous, Lil Wayne. Like the list goes on and on and on. Like I didn't realize. Like we're talking about like gotta be close to 100 different like artists, and they're not all rappers. Some of them are singers, some of them are in R&B. But it's kind of crazy to see how far or how many projects that he's touched. Is kind of ridiculous. Like to the point of like he worked with Justin Bieber, Snoop, Pusha T, like it's a lot of people, and I just don't think that people realize like when he's talking about he's a musical genius. I think that this is the part that people don't realize, that he's producing a lot of songs, he's even composing. So that means that he's like writing and stuff a lot on people's stuff. So I think people get caught up in the whole debate about like, well, doesn't he get help on his own projects? And I think that that's very true. He's even brought up some people through the game just by having them help him. And then eventually they went on to have their own careers, like Travis Scott. But I think that his name holds a lot of weight, and I think it makes a whole lot of sense. What do you guys think? Would you say that he's one of the best rappers slash producers in the game?
Hell yeah, hell yeah!
I
Because
mean,
you
not
just brought up a name that, for me personally, it resonates a lot. You brought up Travis Scott. That is a prime example of somebody that took off the fruit of Kanye West's tree and soaked that shit up and made it into his own. Because if you look at Travis Scott now, he is his own man. He has his own label, he has his own artist, like he has all that. So if you look at everything that Kanye did from a rapper producer standpoint, Travis literally took that from his mold and made it into his own shit and proved that like a guy that is from a completely different area that he's from can make it happen on his own. So yeah, I absolutely believe that Kanye West is a testament to the rapper producer success story. If you
Yeah.
don't believe that, then like I'm like, I don't even mean to like be rude or saying this, but you're kind of blind if you don't see the impact that he's had.
Yeah,
Like,
for
let's
sure.
just be real about it. Like, look at the people that he has birthed off of this. Like, from the Cuddies to the again to the Travises. Like, it's clear he got this, man. He's
Yeah,
had it for a while.
for a minute. Marcus, what do you think?
I'm gonna go Southern with it, you know, to a
Hmm.
staple because I want to mention them together. It's Juicy J and DJ Paul, but
Okay.
you know the 3 6 Mafia producing tree from 2000 to 2014, 14, you know, 14 years is all of 3 6 Mafia's catalog. Their entire catalog has both of them listed as producers. So you have Juicy J and DJ Paul as part as literally the sound of an entire culture. They are Memphis rap, you know, and we can go all the way back from 94 with Kingpin Skitty Pimp to Gangsta Boo to Tear the Club Up Thugs to you have Project Pat, and then you have Lil White, you have it's just so many that come from that tree. And you also got to realize that Juicy J branched out. So when Juicy J branched out with Wiz Khalifa, it's kind of like the same, you know, Wiz was on the map already before Juicy J. We cannot take that away from Wiz. I feel Wiz has stayed relevant because of Juicy J, in the same way Juicy J has became relevant. I mean,
I
stayed.
remember when that happened. I remember when Wiz linked with Juicy, and I was like, this is gonna be really good for him.
Yeah,
Because Wiz at the time was saying, I've like 3 6 Mafia is like one of my biggest inspirations. Like, if I could work with them, like, that'd be awesome. And I remember when Wiz and Juicy first linked up, and I was like, if they keep this going, this is gonna be something. And then Taylor Alderdice dropped. And then they had that one song on there. I can't remember the name of it right now, but they had this collab on there, and I was like, this reminds me of that old 3 6 shit.
yeah.
Because Wiz was fully adopting to it. He was like, no, I'm gonna go all in on this. So I remember when that happened because Wiz was like, no, I'm gonna fully embrace this shit. And he took that shit on like a whole nother 3 6 wave. Like, he kind of resurrected the 3 6 Mafia movement, if we want to be completely real about it. Like, Wiz brought that shit back. He
I
did.
won't say resurrected. I'm gonna say they have similar career moves. So Juicy J, biggest, I want to say biggest song, but crossover was Katy Perry Dark Horse. You know, everybody remembers that song. But then you like, okay, well, that brought him to a whole different audience. Wiz did the same thing on the Fast and Furious soundtrack with the "It's Been a Long Time." That when he did that, so I feel like they've had those same benchmarks career-wise that have made them relevant, and they've been such monumental, like overwhelming successes that it solidifies their legacy. Like you can never say Wiz was an irrelevant rapper or was like on a cut at Black Street, or like nothing can happen to Wiz to where he's knocked out of the top 10. There's nothing that could happen to Wiz that you like even if you put him at 10. If Wiz is the gatekeeper of the other 9 above him, that's in itself is a testament to Wiz. So if you don't put him in the top 10, or even if you have him as the gatekeeper of, well, he had to do at least this Wiz Khalifa's resume to be above him as 9, that's a solid position too as well.
Okay. So Marcus, you chose Juicy J, and well, you basically chose 3 6 Mafia because you feel as though they represent the South, or would you say you feel like they're just like the best like rappers / producers out there?
They represent the best in my preference. Like I like them South. Like I can't put them against like Eclipse. I mean, in the Neptunes, like I can't put that. I can't say one because the grinding beat versus Tear the Club Up Thugs, those are two different genres of rap. I can't say that. So I'll say that they're my favorite.
Okay. You know what? I'm actually so glad that you brought up Clips because I wanted to talk about this artist slash producer. And I was like, wait a minute, did he make that beat for Grindin'? So the person I'm thinking of is actually Pharrell Williams, his full name or whatever. But so I'm thinking of Pharrell because didn't he make that beat or am I tripping? I thought he produced Grindin'. Anybody? Any fact checkers?
Pretty sure he did. Pretty sure he did.
I'm almost certain he did. So like, I felt as
like
though
90. I'm like 99% sure he did.
Right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
My name. I'm gonna go to GTS. Google that shit.
Oh. Yes, by all means. By all means. Google
Okay,
that shit.
we are right.
Because
we are right. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So yeah, so I feel like I had to mention Pharrell because one, like I feel like we mentioned the grinding beat before, and so I think we all agreed then that like once that song came out, it was like no lunch table was the same in like the 2000s. Like once that shit dropped, it was like all of a sudden everybody had to get that, like had to learn it, and then like had to get their own little freestyle together and try and do a little some when you were in school and trying to. And it was like I feel like every guy that I knew who liked to make beats like knew that one perfectly, you know? So I feel like it's super iconic. And I think it's like a real testament because Pharrell can just like take so many different angles with his music. He wears so many different hats. So I think it's kind of funny that we don't even like when you first hear it, you don't realize it's by Pharrell because you're thinking maybe he's a guy from the Happy song, you know, maybe Despicable Me or whatever. But he has a lot of fucking pull as a producer. And like he has some amazing fucking beats. One of my other favorite songs from him or beats from him is Milkshake by Khalees. That shit is a classic in my opinion. That was I was completely shocked to find out that he produced that. He has so many other great ones. Kendrick Lamar's All Right. He wrote that. He wrote most recently he did Cash In Cash Out with 21 Savage and Tyler. I really like that one because like
underrated song. Underrated.
Right? Isn't it such an underrated song?
That song is so good.
And I didn't know for the longest time that it was by Pharrell, only because I think a lot of times people think of Pharrell and they assume that it's going to be kind of like a happy, upbeat kind of a song. Even like, you know, for example, when he did with Snoop, like a lot of his songs with Snoop are like hype, you know? So it's like Drop It Like It's Hot, Beautiful. Like you're thinking of like something that you're going to dance to or whatever. But I love Cash In, Cash Out because it was like dark, kind of weird, but it still had those Pharrell layers, you know? So you were listening to it, you're like, somebody's in there fucking thinking, you know? So, but it was dark, it was lit.
Don't forget about Happy.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you know I had to mention Happy, but it's cool to see that like he can do so many different things. And like, it just is a testament to him not just being an artist, but a producer that he can like change it up so easily. Like even he did one Down in Atlanta with Travis Scott. And when I first
I love that song. Oh my god.
Right? When I first heard that song, like I did not know it was with Pharrell. And I think I should have known because it has this weird like it's hip hop, but it's at the same time it's pop, you know? So once I looked at the credits and stuff, I was like, duh, like, how did I not know that was fucking Pharrell? But I think that he just ceases to amaze us. Like, he can make beats where, like, the hardest dude in the room could fucking rap on it, but at the same time, he can make a beat where, like, fucking Rihanna could jump on it. Like, Lemon. Who expected her to come out here and fucking slap us like that, you know? But, like, only on Pharrell's beats can people really, like, produce such great magic like that. So he's got to be one of my favorites.
We gotta also remember where Pharrell came from, and like you gotta remember that nerd band that he had back in the day.
Yeah.
So, like he's been bred to do this, like that whole pop genre, like going into those like other types of vibes. Like he's been bred to do this for a while. Like I almost wish we could get another nerd album. like today.
Yeah.
Just like thinking about how iconic they were back then, because like
Eric-
they were breaking the mold back then, and he was, you know, he was one of those guys that like stepped outside of the box back then when it wasn't like popular to do that back then, to step outside of the rap genre, and he did it and he made it work.
And remember what
people
rap
really
was.
liked Nerd. Like it wasn't like one of those things where people were just like, oh, like it's like a pop phenomenon thing, like whatever. No, people actually like Nerd. He had a couple of hot singles with them that all the girls standing in the line for the bathroom, all the girls standing in the line. Yeah, like that song. Like he had a couple of hits with Nerd. So it's like he found a formula and he made it work at a certain point.
Absolutely.
You know, hip hop was also at a different. We were also in like a different culture in time. You had East and West Coast in the middle of that, right? You know. Oh shit! Why did that start? I was on taking it somewhere else. But you know, we were talking about East versus West. And then you had like Virginia Beach come out of nowhere, and they was like, "Where are these dudes from?"
Yeah.
And break the mold. That was at a time where, like, unfortunately, right now, everybody sounds alike. You know,
Right.
you have a Future, 21, Kodak Black. You can't tell me that the beat is special. You can't. Their styles go hand in hand with each other. This was a time when everybody sounded different. And if you were, and when if you were a fan of something, it was because it sounded different and you liked it, not because it was, oh, this is the next Moneybagg, or this was the different version of that, or this is a Kanye-esque, or it was always different. So now we have this, like, everybody sounds the same. And in the moment somebody sounds different, they're like, oh, what is he on? Something different. But we realize that the something different back then is timeless, whereas the something now is like, what are they talking about? That's stupid. Like, that's not going.
Right. And I think that you're 1,000% right. I think Pharrell is probably one of the most original like producers and artists. Like even some of the people that we chose, like for example, like Kanye, don't get me wrong, still believe that he's one of the best out there, producer, rapper, whatever. But I will say, like, once I was going through like, you know, his credits and all the things that he's worked on, I realized that he is very much a student of music, and so he uses a lot of samples and he'll like layer them and he'll mix them around, whereas like Pharrell is just like different, and the groups that he, you know, links up with, so like Nerd, the Neptunes, like they just see things differently, and because he usually has like collaborators with him, I think that's why his songs and his beats come out so uniquely, because he does have other people in the room who are like, you know, let's not do the same old shit that everybody else does. Like, we're gonna be different as fuck, and we're just gonna like go all the way. They don't hold back at all. And I think that's honestly what makes them amazing. What makes Pharrell amazing by himself, but also, you know, when he joins up with Neptunes or Nerd, he just has this whole different type of style when he's with them too. So it's cool. I think that Pharrell's got to be one of the top ones on our list for sure.
So top 5 or top 10?
He might be number 1 on my list.
Yeah, for me, I think it's number 1. I think that when it comes to originality, but I think that probably overall, like, it's hard. I say like him and Kanye are kind of tied. That's my opinion. Yeah. What do you guys think? Who's your number?
I mean, so here's my thing. They're 1A and 1B to me, but there's another person that I would like to bring into this conversation that I feel like does not get talked about enough.
Okay.
And it may be controversial to some people, but we have to keep it 100% here. Eminem is one of the best rappers / producers ever. Let's keep it 100% real here.
Okay.
Those first couple of albums, the Slim Shady show, the Eminem show, like all that, the Slim Shady LP, like all that, like Eminem produced basically all that by himself.
I was gonna ask you, was it him and like somebody else?
Dr. Dre helped here and there, but like,
got you.
M was producing all that.
Yeah, and those shits were
Go
hits.
through
Like,
those
man,
album
Slim
credits.
Shady
That's
took
all
over the
M.
world.
Yeah, and he took over the world as a white boy who
Right.
nobody
In
thought
hip-hop.
was ever gonna make it from anything.
Right, from fucking Detroit.
So,
like
and
the
from
last
stuff,
person you
though.
thought was gonna take
Yeah.
over the game.
I mean,
Exactly.
I can respect that and I can hear that, but my number, like the number one is it's different. So just like LeBron, right? LeBron just got the scoring title, and he's not a score. You know, he's not a scorer first. He's a pass first type of player, and he just broke the scoring champion. I mean, the all-time scoring, and that wasn't even a record he set out to do. You know, it just kind of happened. So, you know, and it's above Kobe and it's above Jordan and it's above other great scorers. The person I'm going to say is number one is a top producer in hip hop, and he doesn't do hip hop. He just chooses to dabble. And it's more controversial than the Eminem pick. It's Robert Sylvester Kelly. Nobody.
Really?
No art in terms of art and producing a sound. Like R. Kelly is the greatest of all time because he and we're talking any genre, any type of music. And the only person I could say was equal to him would be Kanye because Kanye pulled off the gospel album and pulled off other, you know, he has that type, but hit wise and just sound wise, and there's not an artist today that would not take R. Kelly produced track. There's no one who's going to say, nah, you know what? I don't want that.
For all of the Eminem fans, I apologize. The fact checker corrected me. The Bass Brothers produced the Slim Shady LP. Just had to call that out.
Okay, so we had to keep it real. Yeah, we had to be honest.
Had to keep it real.
Okay.
Well, I mean, but I still get he still helped 50 Cent.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not M producing. M producing is still top 5 to me. Okay. I just don't think he's my number one. Like my number one.
We're also focusing on
number one either. I just wanted to throw him in the conversation because I feel like, as far as rappers / producers, he is not brought up enough in the conversation. So he had to be brought into the forefront. For me,
that's why I think it's interesting, Marcus, that you brought up R. Kelly, because I'm like, well, did he really rap?
Best of both worlds.
Did put him in that category?
I wouldn't. Not for this particular conversation. I see where you're going with it, Marcus, but for this particular conversation, I would say no.
You don't. So every hip hop song that R. Kelly's done did numbers.
But what song? Which one are we talking about? Because I can't think of any that were like really truly hip hop. Like we might need to go back to
those. Inform me.
Like Same Girl was Usher, and then I think there was like some song like I'm a Flirt with Bow Wow, but I don't know if I would consider that.
I ain't gonna lie,
rapping.
I'm a Flirt was a banger.
Wasn't it though? Like everybody.
Yeah, it was.
That shit
I'm
was.
a Flirt
I used to know the fucking lyrics like the back of my head. I cannot remember them now.
No.
Right. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that counts. Let's see.
So, I mean, how far do you want to go back? So you got Fiesta, you got Throwing the Thorn, you got the I'm a Flirt remix.
Fiesta. Forgot about that.
I mean, you could say Ignition, but that's not really hip hop.
Okay, that's a little bit closer though. I remember that song. That was lit.
Hold on.
See, this is where this conversation gets fuzzy because I know where you're going with this.
Because there's all like and that's what I'm saying. He just chose to kind of come on this. It was never his bread and butter. He's forever the king of R&B, but I'm just saying when he chooses to do a hip hop song, it's almost it's like I won't even say that because I was gonna say like that's like when Lil Wayne hopped on Destiny's Child, but that's not where I wanted to go with it. You know,
I feel like for this conversation to be fair, I feel like he should be excluded. For it to be fair.
Okay.
Right.
Because if we put R. Kelly in this for producer, he could kind of take over most categories that we're talking about.
Right. But when it
And
comes
that's
down
not
to
even
rapper
for us
slash
to,
producer,
and we don't even want to glorify anything that he's doing. And
No, I'm not. Yeah, that's.
No.
I mean, I said it's the controversial topic.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I know.
but it's the same. It's the same producing. Behind the scenes credit. Like there's people forget that Dolly Parton song Whitney Houston, "I Will Always Love You" shit. You don't know where songs come from and how they go because you hear them one way. And I feel like when R. Kelly chose to do hip hop, he was the GOAT. But he didn't do hip hop like every day. That was not his.
Yeah.
Number
I liked
one.
when he would do like features with hip hop artists for sure. I will say that back in the day for sure.
Yeah.
But in turn, honorable mention too. We forgot somebody that's kind of big. Timberland.
Man. But at the same time, I'm also like, he is also confusing because he doesn't rap enough. But I mean, he has had his own albums, right? So we can put it in
Timberland and Magoo. Like, so
yeah, he put out his own solo albums. I feel like that kind of counts.
And he beefed with Scott Storch. That's forever iconic. He had a beef with Scott Storch when Scott Storch was high.
Also, let's keep it real. Timbaland in the mid 2000s had one of the most poppin' pop albums.
Yes.
Like, it's like,
yes,
like not even rap, but like pop. Like he came out and was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna come out and just like kill the pop game."
Yeah,
and had
and
like
he even put Justin Timberlake back on.
And it has legs. Those songs still play today.
Easily.
Can we go clearly 30 seconds off topic? I feel like Justin Timberlake is a culture vulture now. Ever since I don't feel like he represents us as the way.
Timberlake?
Oh, but no, just Justin Timberlake. I don't feel like I feel like he was. I feel like he was a culture vulture. Like he worked.
I feel like Timberland let him in the door. Like that's the thing. If Timberland hadn't given them those fucking beats and like, I don't know. I feel like it gave him this bad boy image. Like before, he was like, Justin Timberlake. From what was he from? Like NSYNC or something. And he was just like, cute white guy and just the singer. But when he got with Timberland, it was like, damn, this dude kind of got a little bit of edge. He got a little bit more layers, got confidence with it. So you gotta blame the producer.
Here's the thing that fucked me up about Justin Timberlake. What album was that he came out with in like, what was it, like 2010, 2011? Like that gold. It's like that album had like the gold and black cover on it. You know what I'm talking about? Because there was a part one where he's stomping on the disco ball, and there was a part two.
No, the 2020 experience.
2020 experience, exactly. Part one of that album is probably one of the best albums, probably that I've ever heard. Like just top to bottom, it's incredible. It's really good.
Okay.
Part two is awful.
Keeping it real. I love it. He like hurt his shit. He was like awful. Like chasing that shit.
Bro, you said it was he said he looked at
was the most compared to part one, album. The
other side though.
There is a night and day difference, literally. Part like it's coincidental that he called one part one and part two. It's very coincidental because one is like sounds like heaven, and then the other one just I don't know what he did at all. I don't know.
He needs that Timberland love, dude. That's what it is. He might need to get him back in the damn studio. I'm also thinking maybe I feel like when artists do that, I always think that maybe part one were the winners, where everybody in the room was like, "This is what you fucking go with," and part two was what the artist really wanted, but everybody was like, "Nah, nigga, don't put that shit out." But he was like, "No, like I'm gonna put my music out. I'm gonna do what I need to do. I can't just let it live on the hard drive." That's probably what happened. That's how I be feeling.
Well, so to piggyback off of what you're saying, that's why I feel like certain producer rappers kind of stay in the cut a little bit. And the guy that I'm gonna bring up right now is somebody whose raps don't ever get talked about because he doesn't really broadcast the fact that he raps for real. and that's Southside. If you know who Southside is Southside from 808 Mafia. Southside has been producing for basically all your favorite artists for like the past like 10 years probably, for Future, Drake, Travis, Young Thug, Uzi, like you name them, he's probably produced for them. Even probably other people that you wouldn't even think of, like R&B artists and shit like that, like SZA. Like he's done a lot of shit. So, and he's been around for a while. But the thing that I love about Southside that a lot of people don't know is that he raps too. He has like 5 mixtapes out, maybe even more than that at this point. But he doesn't really broadcast the fact that he raps. Like he kind of keeps that shit like on the low. Like he is more prideful on the fact that like he is like a really big producer for people and that he's made really good music for people. So I kind of enjoy the fact that like he doesn't really broadcast that, because if he ever decides to take the rapping thing seriously, like he has a clear lane, because he's produced like some of our favorite hits from like a lot of these people. So like the sky is the limit for him. And again, he's the leader of 808 Mafia. So not only is it him, he got TM, he got Pyrex, like he got so many other young niggas like under him that like also are producing hits for other people. So it's like,
would you put him above or below Metro Boomin?
Now, if you're asking me on
if
you're asking me just on an artist producer standpoint, I would put Southside over him because Southside raps and Metro doesn't. If you're asking me on a producer standpoint only, Metro is probably the best producer of our current generation right now.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
After Metro made his stamp with Future, like he kind of took everyone else like out of the picture. And what's funny about it is that Metro and Southside are like this. Like
that's why I
all the time.
Below, because I know Metro's not part of 808 Mafia, but I do know that they're close. So that's why I said, what would you?
He's like Metro is like an honorary 808 Mafia member. Like he might as well be that if he's not. So it's like they're like a yin and a yang, because they make beats together all the time. So it's asking me to pick between them. It's like asking me to pick between Zaytoven and Lex Luger. Can't do it.
I can. That's Lex Luger easy. Not easy, but Zaytoven has.
No, it's not.
I'm surprised he went that.
So
that answer. I was gonna say Zaytoven.
Let's it's the trumpet. Zaytoven is good, but with like Lex Luger, you get grimier. I didn't get grimier shit listening to Lex Luger than I did Zaytoven. So.
Is that how you gauged it?
Yeah, I'm over.
Which one of these dudes can make me do the craziest shit?
Yeah, like you listen. You might shoot a nigga like Pop. Remember on Pop when they had on Harlem Nights that one, and then but when Lex Luger come, and then you got Zaytoven come pop. And then you get that stupid shit out of here, man.
I love it. I love that's how you gauge.
It has nothing
Maybe we should all start using that one.
Credibility whatsoever. Just Lex Luger.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that Eric mentioned Southside though, because honestly, I heard about Southside, like being a producer, but I actually didn't know that he also raps. So I'm gonna take a little dive into his mixtapes myself. I want to see what the hype is about.
Yeah, it'd be way different if like I'll put it to you like this: if Metro Boomin rapped, this would be a whole different conversation.
Honestly, I'm surprised that he does it. I'm always waiting for it.
He
I don't know
said
why.
that he tried to way back in the day, but that like it wasn't for him.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it?
I mean, at least he found his passion. Shit, he's still a great, amazing
Oh,
fucking producer.
and he's 70 M's richer. Metro just sold a portion of his catalog.
Did he really?
Really?
Wow.
Or a portion. A portion of it. So he sold it for $70 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
Also, I
Congratulations
do
to
want
him.
to say about Metro that like he probably has the #1 song on the radio right now. That song with The Weeknd. That I Don't Want to Know song that they
Oh
flipped.
yeah.
That what sample was that they flipped on that song?
I think it was a Mario Winans sample.
Yeah. That song is
Yeah.
every time I get into an Uber, that song is playing
Mm.
every single time.
Yeah, man,
Every
you cannot
Uber?
lose when you have The Weeknd or Metro Boomin on your shit, honestly. And so the
No.
fact that they did it together, that's lit. For sure.
And he just performed here, opening up for our soccer team that we just got. So they did a big block party. Crazy ride.
Mm.
I'm gonna send y'all the video.
Yeah.
I've seen Metro live before. He does a really good live show because like he'll get into like a DJ bag where like he won't just play like his own stuff. Like he'll play like other shit. Like he played. I remember when I saw him, he like randomly like started playing like Finito by Chief Keef, and everyone like you know whenever that song comes on at a party, like it's just like the vibe. Like that is gonna go crazy every single time.
Actually, I'm glad you brought up Chief Keef because when I was like researching, I actually saw that some people were saying that Chief Keef is an amazing producer himself. Have you guys like found that to be true? I had to dive more into it, but supposedly he's still out here producing, not just like his own shit, but other people's stuff. Have you guys heard the same thing?
I can believe it because I didn't realize that. So all of us know that Lil Wayne started young.
Yeah.
You know, he Birdman. So I didn't realize that when I was a Chief Keef fan, he was that young, and I was a fan. So you know the fact that it wasn't even drill when it was Chief Keef. It was just Chief Keef. We didn't call it drill. We didn't call it drill music, but he was the first to do drill. Drill came 8 years later.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And we was like, oh, they trying to sound like Chief Keef and doing that. So he was that far ahead. So I can see him producing now.
Yeah.
Bro, I feel like Chief Keef is one of those people who is like a very underrated person who like set a lot of trends who came through like especially in like the past like 5-10 years. Like Chief Keef really solidified a lot of shit for this rap shit, the way that like it came up in the past couple of years, from the sound to the drill shit to the look, like all of that. Like Chief Keef was responsible for a lot of that. And I feel like even if his sound is not as popular now, I still feel like the wave that he produced kind of overtook everything else. So it kind of doesn't even matter if he puts out music now. His legend alone is like solidified. Like people know who Chief Keef is. And that's really all you really need to know at this point for him. Because that's the crazy part about it, is that he's still so young.
His music
He's not even 30 years old yet. He's like 20 something. He's like in his like late 20s.
Yeah. It's better than Soulja Boy because nobody plays Soulja Boy.
Way better than Soulja Boy.
No one plays so, but at the end of the day, you can't take away the fact that Soulja Boy got $1 a view from YouTube. So you know that's what we talk about Soulja Boy now, because he got $1 per view on YouTube at a time when viral social media and all of that, you know, wasn't even thought of. But music wise, Chief Keef is the Soulja Boy that we never had, because you can still play Finito, you can gas what I still get you up in the club.
Chief Keef executive produced Trippie Redd's last album, Mansion Music.
Oh, well, then that's it right there.
Realize that. And Trippie Redd has his own fucking following for sure.
He produced, and not only executive produced, I think he actually produced like over half of the songs on that album.
And I'm just gonna say this: I'm not a Trippie Redd fan because I think he weird as shit, and I'm talking about like off, like just not my vibe weird. Like,
No, I understand.
but
Yeah.
when you see, I'm probably when people do, there's a difference between doing arenas. I'm sorry, there's a difference between doing clubs, doing arenas, and doing festivals. And when you can pull off a festival of people and they are right, and Trippie Redd is a name on the festival. What's the other guy that I'm thinking of from California who did Nipsey Hussle on the Victory Lap? Oh, what's that dude name? What the Roddy Ricch. He's a Roddy Ricch type of artist to me. Who fan base, you like, who is he? But you know him, you know the name, but the fan base is so dedicated, and so that festival name is a whole lot different than arena name.
I know what you mean because I've seen Trippie live before, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Like when people say like have that that quote of he's him. Trippie Redd is him at festivals. Like people go out to make sure that they see him because he's one of those people that has one of those live shows that's like, it's very extravagant. There's a lot going on. Like the stage setup is crazy. There's like dancers, there's visuals, like there's all of that, like pyro, like everything. Like he's one of those guys that like demands a lot, but also his music, like the type of music that he makes, it kind of warrants that.
Right. Yeah, he's very different for sure. But I love that we mentioned, that Chief Keef was one of the people that produced his album because, yeah, like you were saying, it's a real statement to or a testament to his talent that, like you were saying, he doesn't even have to put out his own music anymore. He can help produce other people's, and he's still that fucking lit. I love that you guys kind of compared Chief Keef and Soulja Boy because I think that you're right that like Chief Keef has given so much to like the sound and like the new vibe of hip hop, especially with drill and stuff. But I think that he's just a lot more reserved and humble about it. Whereas Soulja Boy made big fucking moves himself. Like Marcus was saying, he made a ton of money off of YouTube when that was unheard of. And even now, like, yeah, his bars are not intricate. They're really not like crazy or anything. But I will say, like, every once in a while, he gets back on the radio. He gets back into streaming. And from what I understand, he produces like 99.9% of his own shit. So it's like, he's pretty fucking smart for doing it that way too. So you might, make fun of Soulja Boy or whatever for kind of having dumbed down lyrics or whatever, but he's making a bag himself and he's gonna stay relevant for a while, So I'd actually like to see Soulja Boy produce some more for other people and, maybe collab with people more just to see what he can do. Maybe he can evolve a little bit more as an artist, but as a producer, he's smart,
Once a year, Soulja Boy comes back out and has a hit.
Yeah, like that one, She Make It Clap. The whole time I was like, what's the part that's about to be crazy about this? And it was like, nothing. Like that's the entire fucking song, but that bitch went up. Like everybody was playing it for at least a couple months. So, he's smart. He is one of those people who, like we said before, like sometimes they find the right formula, and his might be a little bit simpler than other people's, but he's gonna fucking use that formula to the end of time, and it works for him. I'm not mad at that. So I think that he definitely deserves like, honorary mention of rapper/producer for sure.
To keep in line with the name of our show, Bar Exam, Soulja Boy is the only guy that went on Versus and played the same song twice and got away with it.
Yeah.
He played Make It Clap twice in a row, and I remember him saying, "DJ, play that back. I don't care. This is a brand new song. Play it, run that back," and nobody cared.
Soulja Boy can do whatever he fucking wants, for real. Yeah. But I think that he's a good artist for us to close it out on because he might not be the top of our list, but he's on the list somewhere, right? So it is what it is.
For sure.
Right? But I hope that you guys really like this episode. We definitely had fun debating and diving into who are like the best rappers and producers out there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next Monday on Bar Exam. Have a good one.